Good morning and welcome to Caretaker's Corner, where we discuss everything that has to do with taking care of your elderly disabled parents, disabled spouses, and your adult disabled children, and yourselves. My name is CJ and I am your guide on this journey. And I am here to discuss what I think is coming to be what I believe is the worst flaw of a caretaker. As everyone's aware, my stepfather passed away, I guess about a month ago now. And I have got a lot of added stuff to my plate because of that. I've got to get my mom moved, and I have to get one of my properties fixed up for my mom to live in. And I've got all this added responsibility with helping my mom out, because my stepfather did most of the driving. He handled most of the finances, and now my mom's having to learn how to do all that. And my mom could drive. She just hadn't driven regularly in a while. And so she's having to take on all this added responsibility, and that trickles down to me taking on a lot of added responsibility to help her relearn, or take control of all of these different aspects of her life that he took care of previously. And it has added a lot of extra work on top of me. I already, as everybody knows, I work full time. I take care of Barbara, and I've got 2 properties I take care of. Now a third, because I've got my mom's property. And that's a lot. That's a lot to take on. So I'm not very good at asking for help. I'm okay about asking for help if it's something I absolutely know nothing about. Case in point, to get the house ready for my mom to move in, I have to have the plumbing redone, and I'd like the floor redone. So a new floor put throughout the whole house. And I know I don't have the skills or the time to learn the skills for any of that. So I will be getting a contractor. And I suggest that anybody out there that needs work done like that, and you do not have the skills or the time to learn them, please find yourself a contractor, because you can spend more money messing things up than you would paying for a contractor. Just be sure and make sure that they are bonded and insured, so that if something does go wrong, you have recourse to get your money back, or to get the work fixed again. But I know I don't have that ability, so I am going to pay somebody to go in and do it. I don't have a problem asking for help, because that is asking for a form of help. You're paying for it, but you're still getting help. But there are a lot of situations where it's like, okay, I'm not very good about asking for help. Case in point, my mom a few days ago contacted me. She had a doctor's appointment earlier that day, and it turns out that she needs a medical procedure on Tuesday, and she has to be medicated for it. And she needs a ride, and it's at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I work from 5 a.m. till 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., depending on the day, and how backed up we are. So she was like, yeah, I need you to go and do this with me. And I'm like, I started seriously freaking out. I was like, I can't do it. Barb's got a doctor's appointment on Thursday out of town, and I've already got that day off. I can't just suddenly keep taking days off. And I don't get paid for these days. And that's another thing that's kind of hard to get people to understand. I don't get paid. I am a salary employee, but I've burned through everything. So I no longer get paid for the days I am not at work. And that's another thing. I have to be getting paid. And I started having a little bit of what I would call a panic attack or a nervous breakdown. And Barbara's like, well, why don't you just call and ask your aunt or see if maybe somebody in that household might be able to help me. And I was like, well, I mean, it's worth a try. And I mean, I calmed right down, and I sent my aunt a text message, and she was like, I would be happy to help. She had been in that situation before, and where she needed to go to doctors and stuff, and couldn't find a ride. So she was more than willing to help. And it kind of made me sit back and go, yeah, maybe I need to stop and think about asking for help more often. I know the reason I don't is because I have asked individuals for help in the past and been let down. All right, now these are not people that I would consider extremely close to me, so we're not talking like anybody I usually talk about on this program. But there's been family members and other individuals over the years where I've like, I seriously need your help. I'm willing to make trades to get this help done and all this stuff. And then they just totally let you down, and you actually end up with more work by the time you're done. So sometimes it is just easier for us to do it ourselves, and then we get in this mentality that, okay, I will just do it myself, forget it, I won't ask for help, it'll just be easier this way. Not always the case. There comes a point where we have to swallow our pride, we have to swallow whatever it is we think we've got going on, and ask for that help, because there comes a point where we just can't do it anymore. And that is literally where I was at this week. It's like I think Barb described it best, where she says my rubber band is just stretched so thin and so tight, there's no more room. And when we get like that, we do have to ask for help. And I don't know whether it is pride or whether we just take on so much responsibility on ourselves, which is actually what I think it is, that we just find it hard to ask for help. And I'm going to tell you, swallow that pride. Get that help, because it will be so much easier for you in the end. If somebody needs a ride somewhere, you can't do it, and you live in a city, which I don't live in a very large area. We live in a rather rural area. We have taxi service, but like if you live in an area where you can get an Uber or Lyft, taxi, I mean, that's an ideal way. In Mom's case, the taxi wouldn't work because the taxi is, she lives in one town and the procedures in another town, and even though it's not very far, it's like $30 just for that trip, one way. So that really wasn't a logical choice either. But if you live in an area and transportation's an issue, that's a way of helping. I know that sometimes you can contact senior citizen centers, and they can suggest people that can help you out. Like if, especially with the elderly, they'll have people that volunteer to help out. You still want to double check, because if you want to refer to my videos about scams, it's amazing how many are out there, specifically targeting the elderly, like when it comes to working on their properties and doing handyman type stuff. Unfortunately, it's an easy area to get people. And I just can't explain enough how hard it is and how important it is to ask for that help. So I know it's been like a totally repetitive video, but it's really important. Ask for that help. All right. I give you a homework assignment this week. Ask for help for just one item, even if it's just a simple item, something that you probably could do yourself in 2 seconds. We have to train ourselves to be able to ask for help. And I know that's hard. So if we start with something really small, we can work our way up to something bigger. So ask for help on something small this week, so that way you can work yourself up to asking for something bigger. All right, have a great week. Love you guys, and see you next week.